The year is 2025. Donald Trump, back in the Oval Office, is eager to assemble his cabinet. Top of the list? Replacing Lloyd Austin, the current Secretary of Defense. Enter Pete Hegseth, a man whose qualifications seem to begin and end with "served in the military" and "looks good yelling on Fox News." Hegseth's confirmation hearing was meant to showcase his unique qualifications. Instead, it became a masterclass in how not to impress the Senate Armed Services Committee. From the moment he sat down, fidgeting nervously under his freshly ironed uniform, it was clear this was going to be a bumpy ride. Now, I'm not saying Hegseth isn't a patriot, but leading the most powerful military in the world requires more than flag-waving and tough talk. Which brings us to the main event, the moment Hegseth's confirmation hearing went from a car crash to a full-blown dumpster fire. The question seemed simple enough. Senator Tammy Duckworth, a decorated veteran, asked him to name the member countries of ASEAN. You know, ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, a pretty important geopolitical bloc. A normal qualified candidate would rattle off the names like they were reading a grocery list. Hegseth, on the other hand, looked like he'd been asked to solve a differential equation. "Well, Senator," he stammered, "there's, South Korea? And Japan, of course. Oh, and Australia." The look on Senator Duckworth's face was priceless, a mix of amusement and utter disbelief. Hegseth tried to recover, mumbling something about strategic ambiguity, which is Washington, D.C. speak for, "I have no idea what I'm talking about." But the damage was done. The hearing room erupted in laughter, even among some of Hegseth's supporters. The geographical gaffe would have been bad enough on its own, but things were about to get a whole lot worse for Hegseth. Senator Elizabeth Warren, a master at grilling nominees, turned her attention to Hegseth's post-military career aspirations. Before being nominated, Hegseth had been a vocal critic of the revolving door between the Pentagon and the defense industry. So, naturally, Senator Warren wanted to know if Hegseth would hold himself to the same standard. Would he pledge to recuse himself from any decisions involving companies he'd worked for or consulted with? The answer, sadly, was not a resounding yes. Instead, Hegseth launched into a rambling defense of his previous statements, claiming his private sector work gave him valuable experience. It was clear that Hegseth saw the defense secretary position not as public service, but as a stepping stone to a lucrative career in the very industry he was supposed to regulate. If Hegseth thought his performance was going to fly under the radar, he was sorely mistaken. The internet exploded with memes and mockery. #Hegseth Geography became a trending topic, with people posting fake maps and geography quizzes that even a 5-year-old could answer. But the backlash went beyond online jokes. Women's rights groups, already concerned about Hegseth's history of misogynistic comments, were outraged by his nomination. Environmental activists pointed to his climate change denial as a disqualifying factor, and even some veterans groups questioned whether someone who couldn't find ASEAN on a map was fit to lead the armed forces. The message was clear. Pete Hegseth was unqualified, unprepared, and unfit to be Secretary of Defense. As the hearing adjourned, one couldn't help but wonder, what does it say about America when someone like Pete Hegseth is even considered for such a position?